Welcome to the Patient First Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin, where, of course, we're looking to increase the influence of today's engaged dentists. And today, I'm excited because it's a new year. It's 2022. New Year's mean one thing to me, and that is, I like to call it goal setting, but most people call it resolutions. And, you know, people that know me well know that I'm a bit of a goal freak. I love New Year's because it brings hope, and not just hope, but really it's a good demarker to really focus on creating an action plan for the new year that I take seriously. And usually I go off just in solitude for at least a day, usually at least 2 or 3 days, to plan out my year. And I do that by really thinking 10 years ahead. Every year I could do this. I think 10 years ahead. I look and see what I did last year. Where did I want to be in 10 years? And then 5 years, and then 3 years, and then 1 year. And then I break it down to the next 90 days, the next quarter. So I have 2 great friends of mine that are accountability partners, and we present this every year. So I presented last week about exactly what I want to accomplish in 10 years, and then down to 5 years and 1 year and the quarter. And what the magic about that is you really, especially doing this with accountability partners, is that you have your next quarter so that you set up for the trajectory that you want to be at in 10 years. My personal goals would be very boring to everybody, so we won't go over my personal goals today. But I do want to point out that I would recommend everybody do that because, as it's said, I don't know who said this, but it is commonly said that people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. That's why you want to have a 10-year focus and then bring it down to a year and then bring it down to the next quarter. And so, like I said, my personal goals would be boring to everybody. However, I want to bring 10-year goals down to 1 year that I think we can accomplish together for dentistry in 2022. So I always only have 3 goals because I think if it's more than 3, it's very hard to actually accomplish anything if you have more than 3. So I have today to you on this podcast, the Patient First Podcast, my top 3 goals for dentistry for the year 2022. And of course, I'm going to try to do my part. Hit me up, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what we can do to influence these goals. If you think that my goals are off track and we should have different goals, I'd love to have that discussion with you. So, okay, so my top 3 goals in no particular order, other than I think this first one is probably obvious if you come to this podcast. It's being more compassionate to patients, putting patients first, right? It's the title of the podcast, for God's sake. It's the title of my book, The Patient First Manifesto. So it's overarching. The reason I got this picture up here, if you're watching this, if you're watching it, the video podcast, it's somebody getting punched in the face, because one of my favorite threads on social media on Dental Town is patients I want to punch in the face, which is massively popular because it's human nature to get frustrated with other human beings. And in dentistry, oftentimes that means we get frustrated with our patients because of the great disconnect between dental professionals and dental patients. If you haven't listened to that podcast, I would recommend you go listen to the podcast we have about the great disconnect. I think it's a huge issue in dentistry, but I don't want to belabor that point here and why I think we need to be more compassionate with our patients and also adjust our practice to incorporate their perspective, because it's the topic of my book. It's the topic of the podcast. We talk about it all the time here. And so if you listen to more than this episode, you'll get those points across all the time. So I don't want to belabor the number one goal that I think we should all focus on in dentistry for 2022, which is to incorporate our patient's perspective in our practice by being more compassionate and listening to our patients, right? So I'm not going to belabor it any more than that. I am just going to go on to point number 2, which is, I think, a relatively new one for me, for us to focus on in dentistry, and that is to become more profitable. Revenue in dentistry has been doing just fine, but our expenses are going through the roof, and I think that means that a lot of people question whether they're profitable, and I think this is going to be a problem going forward with in dentistry. Dental insurance companies are not increasing reimbursements. They're going the opposite direction. Wages are out of control. Costs and inflation out of control. I just had a discussion with my office manager about raising fees, and then you don't get the reimbursements from the insurance companies. So I think we are kind of at a crossroads in dentistry where we're going to need to evaluate our insurance participation, our profitability for procedures. This is a massive, massive, massive issue right now in dentistry. And the reason why I think it's important to bring up is that profit is a taboo word in dentistry. And I think that we don't talk about it enough, because I've talked with many dentists when I'm talking to them about growing their practice and technology, incorporating things that improve the quality of care. And frankly, people can't make good decisions because they don't feel profitable enough. And I think that we make bad decisions when our decisions are only made for profit, when we're not actively looking to be profitable. You have to have your financial house in order for you to do the best for your patients. And to put patients first, we have to have a profitable business. And I know that it almost sounds controversial in dentistry, but it's true. If we're not profitable, unless you're working in a community clinic or if you're working in a clinic that's sort of designed to be subsidized, which isn't the most of dentistry in the United States of America, we have to be profitable. And to do that, I think we can completely do that. We can be as profitable, more than profitable than ever before in dentistry, frankly. But it typically is going to mean we need to adjust to the changing times. And that's what we're doing here. And we've got a great way to actively work with people to have you become more profitable. That's a heavy focus of mine in the first half of 2022. This is going to be my key focus for this first half of this year, is helping dentists become more profitable. I think we need dentists to be more profitable in order to provide the best care we can for our patients. That's why I am doing as a heavy focus for our next upgrade day. We've had over 3,000 dental professionals come through our upgrade days. We had 2 last year. We're going to be doing 4 this year. The first one is going to be January 21st. Join us for free. We have over 10 CE credits, some fantastic presenters coming. And if you sign up for free at upgradeday.com for that event, you get instant access to my lecture, my personal lecture, that is on 3 steps to massively increase your production. And you can do that without sacrificing quality, stressing out your team, or working yourself to death. So I'm going to focus on how to become more profitable at this upgrade day, and it's free. So just sign up. You get instant access to my lecture, and then there'll be over 10 lectures beyond that are for everything on artificial intelligence, x-rays, and 3D printing, and radiographs, and just all sorts of great topics that we have. Great presenters. At least 10 presenters are going to be presenting at Upgrade Day this time. Again, it's free. Upgradeday.com. You get 10 CE credits and instant access to my lecture to massively become more profitable and productive. So that's leg 1 of the stool of helping you become more profitable so that we can help our patients. Also, Abundance, a platform that we're launching that basically focuses on team performance, and we have a profit dashboard so you can actually see in real time your profitability, because I know that I've been there when money comes in and money goes out and you don't know how profitable you are. And so we're fixing that problem with Abundance. So if you have QuickBooks Online, it plugs into that. Then it also plugs into your practice management software, and we automate accountability, fraud security. We have, again, real-time profitability dashboard, and we have online coaching connected so that there's a problem in your practice, we can get you online coaching immediately. It really opens up your practice data and makes it so that it's the first automated practice management system that includes training for your team. Huge focus. So, number 1, putting patients first and being more compassionate and actively refocusing our practices towards the patient perspective. Issue number 2 that we're going to be tackling in 2022 here at Upgrade Dental, and myself personally, is helping you become more profitable. And number 3, It is time to have free, open, secure access to our patient data. And I believe that dentistry can lead healthcare in the area of interoperability. I think it's such a open system, meaning a clean slate for us to create the best interoperability network of data in dentistry. Our patients own their data, and we're the stewards of this data. So the data, meaning the dental chart that you have, if you have dental practice management software, which I hope you do, I believe that patients should have free and open access to their data, as well as practices should. So this is a topic that I'm going to be focused heavily on in 2022. We'll be talking a lot more about that over the course of 2022. But if a patient is switching offices, they move to town, they should just be able to give you access to their data. I think that is a philosophical wrong that's going on right now, that you don't have and your patients don't have access to their data. It's too difficult to access that data now, and I think we need to fix that. I'm working through standards development organizations with the ADA and with Dental Standards Institute to develop an ecosystem to allow for this open exchange of data. And I think your website should be the hub, frankly, of everything. And we're going to be providing tools to help you do that. So I'm really excited to talk to you about that. But for now, if you want to become more profitable, again, I would go to upgradeday.com and register to get instant access to my 3 steps to massively increase your production without sacrificing quality, sacrificing your team, or stressing out your team, or working yourself to death. I'm really excited about the things that we're focusing on in Upgrade Dental this year. I think we've got I've alluded to it at this on the podcast before, that we're putting together this workshop to help dentists become massively profitable. And the first step in that is this presentation on the 3 steps to massively increase your production. So hope to see you there at Upgrade Day. Join the 2,000 dental professionals that are going to be joining us. And I'm excited about it. We have some, like I said, great presenters in addition to the instant access to my course. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Patient First Podcast.